It's time to get your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Boom! Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, man. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. As always, want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, man. How you feel, dog?
I'm doing good, BT. I'm doing good. What about yourself?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. You know, just getting back in town and trying to get my feet back on the ground. Of course, NXT was dope this week. But nah, man, I'm feeling good. Feeling real good.
What do you think about the constant shout outs during NXT from Joe Hendry to you? Do you enjoy the Joe Hendry shout out? Because you are now being referred to as the president of the fan club of pretty much every episode of NXT. How do you feel about
it? I'm a Joe Hendry fan. I'm just put it out there. I mean, anybody that come along in this business and they're able to create, be able to find that spot, get in their lane and actually flow, it's unique. And the thing is, this business is so fluid right now with so many young guys trying to get into the business. When you see one break out, and the thing is, it's not him in the ring turning flips or anything like that. That's not what's getting him over. I just think it's his personality and how he makes the fans feel about him. I always said that that's the true connection in professional wrestling, not what they see, how you make them feel. And Joe Hendry has picked that up.
That's the biggest thing, right? Is his name got there before he did, you know, and the song, the crowds behind it. It's a trend thing. Now, here's my question. What advice could you give to Joe Hendry as to keep this up? You know what I mean? To keep this going, because right now it's hot. But, you know, you got to keep the fan in the flames. The flames got to stay hot. You know what I mean? How do you do that?
I don't think he needs to do anything different. He just needs to stay consistent. I was talking to Elias back when he was in WWE, and I told Elias, I said, man, concentrate on your music a little bit more. Really lean into your music. Your wrestling is going to be there. All right. Yeah. Go out and perform. You get that part right. You're okay. But if you could really hone in to this music thing, you could become a dual athlete. More. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about being a dual athlete, being a wrestler, and then shutting it down, putting your tights in the bag, and then going to the club across the way and doing a set. And that set turns into something bigger after this thing is over with. I'm thinking about what's next for Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry has a hell of a future in this business, but parlaying his success in this business to whatever he's going to do next, that would be the best advice I can give him, because this sand in the hourglass goes quick. I'm talking about here today and going tomorrow. These years go by so fast. So if I can just tell that kid to prepare for what's next, he's got a hell of a future. He's got a lot of talent. Just hone in on it.
And how do you like, I mean, at least right now on NXT this last week, we saw him and All Ego, Ethan Page, in the ring together, little war of words between one another. Do you like that matchup on paper? Do you like All Ego versus Joe Hendry?
Ego gonna need some guys to work with. Joe Hendry is, perfect person to work with right now. I mean, the fans, every time you say this guy's name, no pun intended.
Does he appear?
Yeah, he appears, but the crowd goes crazy, man. The crowd goes crazy. I haven't gotten a chance to really, like, up close and personal, see what Joe Hendry brings to the in-ring side, but I've seen a little bit. The little bit I've seen, I wouldn't say I wasn't impressed or anything like that. I wouldn't say I was overly impressed, but that's the name of the game. If I had nothing to say about it, he's doing something right. That's normally the way it works.
Well, and then how would you grade All Ego so far in his title reign?
Ego's doing good, man. Ego's doing good. He came out with a brand new jacket last week. You might want
I saw the jacket.
He came out with a brand new jacket. The only advice I can give to him is make sure he take the little, the little piece out in the back, because he still had it, tucked in, so you could tell it was a brand spanking new jacket, So if I could get a guy some some debonair tips, some wardrobe tips. That would probably be the only thing I could give all ego Ethan Page. He's doing a hell of a job. He really is doing a hell of a job. He's a guy that's been in the business for quite some time, and now he's finally getting his shot, finally getting his shine, which in this business, I think that's what every young wrestler thrive to want to have, a hell of a career, work in the big time, work on the big show, see what it's like at WrestleMania. I think Ego is in the perfect place to actually move up the ladder. NXT, he's doing a hell of a job, but I feel like Ego can actually move up the ladder to the next level.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see what all ego Ethan Page can do with this title run, because I feel like for him to go from, I don't want to say being in the doldrums in AEW, but sort of, right? I mean, he wasn't a guy who was focused on a lot. Then he spent a lot of time on the Ring of Honor brand, and Ring of Honor didn't even have television. So in a lot of ways, you are in the doldrums of a company. To go from that to primo spot, he's got to be pinching himself a little bit, right?
Yeah, now you know what that tells me, man? It tells me he's talent. He wouldn't have gotten put in that spot if he wasn't ready. I think the company saw Ego and said, man, we could use this guy. We could really, really put this guy to work and have him work with some of the best young talent that this business has to offer, and not look out of place at the same time. All Ego, he fits in perfectly. And like I say, I really feel like, guys like Trick Williams, going to learn a whole lot just watching how this guy go out and, do business. Like I say, he's good. He's good. He's solid. He's a solid worker. And that's on the mic, in the ring. I don't see a lot of flaws or anything like that. Ego is definitely, he's impressed me since he's been there.
One of the things that Triple H said when he was asked about the TNA crossover is that a lot of the NXT talent, they're all new and they're working one another. And he said the way that all the legends, such as yourself, himself, Shawn Michaels, all got better was by working people who were better than them, and having some of the TNA folks come over and being able to kind of facilitate a role. People who a little bit more seasoned, worked a different style. Ethan Page coming in from a different company. Do you see the logic there in that, you're getting to work different styles and different people than the men and women that you actually trained with?
Man, it's invaluable to be able to work with talent that's just better than you. It's invaluable. You can't, find that experience. You can't kind of recreate that experience anywhere other than actually being in there with those guys. Or for me, in the Global Wrestling Federation, I will be peeking out of the curtain. I'll be watching what those guys was doing, the veteran guys, to see how they would motivate the crowd to do certain things, how they would get, like real, some hot heat, how that baby face would, turn it on and, really start making that comeback. I was a student of the game. And the thing is, I knew when I was in the Global Wrestling Federation, all those guys, not just some of them, all of those guys were better than me. And I couldn't do nothing but learn. Yeah. Invaluable experience.
And that was, I think that you said, correct me if I'm wrong, your first match was against Killer Tim Brooks. Is that right?
Yeah. My first, that wasn't in Global though. That was in Texas All Pro Wrestling.
Texas All Pro. But Killer
All.
Tim Brooks pretty much told you, just shut up and listen.
Killer Tim Brooks, I went over a match with him, and I thought we were going to do it traditionally like these young guys do these days. We go over it, and then we go out there and we get it done. But when I came out, Killer Tim Brooks had different ideas, and he just went to beating the hell out of me. And he beat me, and he beat me, and he beat me so much. I was wondering, did I do something wrong? And then finally, Killer Tim Brooks gave me some instruction. And I took that instruction. Then I ran with that instruction. Then I started rolling with that instruction. Ended up winning the match. Got a roll up, finish 1, 2, 3, and I got back to the back. And I thought I had made a mistake. I thought I did something wrong in the match, and I thought Killer Tim Brooks was going to give me the right act. And when he came back to the back, he walked by me, and he really didn't even stop, but just for a second. And he said, "You're going to be all right, kid." And he kept on walking. So that let me know that, man, I did something right, which was listen, wait, and see what happened. And understanding this business, that the veteran pretty much is control of everything. If he's going to lead me the right way, he's going to lead me the right way. If he's not, he's not. And it was just up to me to trust Killer Tim Brooks. Go with the program, go with the flow. And that's all I did, man. And next thing you know, the crowd was popping. GI Bro was going up top, dropping a big AK-47. big roll up finish, whatnot, and the rest is history.
So you would say your first match was a good match?
Yeah, it was a good match because I didn't have to do nothing but listen. That was like my second match. The first match I had was we got 30 seconds against this guy named Dusty Wolf. And
Dusty Wolf, yeah.
Dusty Wolf, he was a job guy back in the day, and he came in and the Avalon Club on Richmond back in the day. And I told him, I said, hey man, I know you've been in the business, you've been doing jobs, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you're a whole lot better than I am. And if you could just take me through this match, I really would appreciate it. And he said, no problem, kid. And man, he schooled me, man. He took me to school and taught me a whole lot, man. Dusty Wolf, aka Dale Wolf. He had several different names, but he definitely taught Booker T the name of the game. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it, sucker?
And this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So there's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Book, Blue Chew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
Let's just get it out there, guys. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Guys, if you want to get inside the Hall of Fame today, you better do it. Do it now. I do it for you. We're only going to be here for, less than another hour. So get your super chats in if you want to say a little something inside the Hall of Fame. If you want a little champagne wishes. If you want some caviar dreams, man, do it. Do it now. I do it for you.
We are definitely going to get to all of your super chats here in the Hall of Fame today. So, yeah, get them in while you can. But, Book, I wanted to take a step back here for a second because today is August the 15th at the time we're taping this. 20 years ago today was SummerSlam 2004. And I just wanted to take a little moment in the Wayback Machine because there was a couple significant things that happened on that SummerSlam. But you wrestled SummerSlam 2004, 20 years ago today, right? You worked John Cena in a match, and that was for the United States Championship. It was the first of your best of 5 series matches for the U.S. title. You've talked about the best of 5 series before on here with Cena. Can you talk a little bit about how do you remember that coming about, the best of 5? Was this a Booker T idea? And you said, I want to work with Cena. How did this come about?
No. I did want to work with Cena. He was a guy that was coming up at that time. And I think they wanted to do a best of 7 series with Cena and I just did not think 7 matches would work out. And they came up with the best of 5. And I was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. And for me,
what was the difference, though? Why was 7 too long, but 5 just right?
I just didn't want to try to recreate what I did with Benoit, just because I knew I couldn't do that again. I just couldn't. It was really that hard. Even trying to do it with Benoit in WWE, I couldn't finish it. just because I got hurt. I pulled a groin, and Randy Orton had to finish that best of 7 series for me with Benoit, and I just didn't think my body could handle that. So I chose 5. And the thing for me, having those matches, it was almost like Killer Tim Brooks with me. I wanted to teach John Cena the ropes, teach him the name of the game, the art of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Phantom of the Opera. And man, we got a chance to really create some good work. John Cena was that same guy, such as I was back in the day. All he did was listen, man. I don't remember John, suggesting anything other than, Shakespeare. Let's go out here and do it. He was that type of guy that just wanted to learn. And for me, I could see and I could sense that this was the next guy that the company was going to be putting a lot of stock into. And for me to be able to help John Cena, my mother always told me it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to people. And so for me, I was just trying to help John Cena get to that next level. And what a student, man. What a student of the game.
And you thought, okay, if I have these, because to me, I feel like the pressure of those matches are on you, right? Because he's the rookie, you're the vet, world champion, you're working for a title, you're starting this off at SummerSlam. Do you remember any like certain pressure going through your mind, or was it just business as usual? Was it like, hey, look, we got some work to do, we're going to go in there and do it?
No, business as usual, man. I knew what my job was. My job was to go out there and make John Cena, make this guy a star, make him a mega star. And I had no qualms with that at all. In this business, it's like a revolving door. You're going to be either going in or you're going to be going out, one of the two. So for me, it was his time. His time was now. And seriously, so it was my time to try to put a shine on him, and I think I did a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the notable matches from that night. The other one was 20 years ago. You mentioned Chris Benoit. 20 years ago, Randy Orton defeated Chris in the main event of SummerSlam to become the youngest world heavyweight champion in history at 24 years of age, which when you think about it, sounds insane that at 24 years old, Randy Orton was the world heavyweight champion in WWE. Now, 20 years later, he's a 14-time champion. He's 44 years of age. He's on the tail end of his career. Where he was still at the beginning and already winning a world title. What do you think? I don't know if you remember when he won the world title that night. I know you had other business to take care of, and that's probably what your mind was on. But Randy winning the title at 24, what do you think that does to a psyche of a young wrestler? Does that make you think, oh, I'm the world champion. I got it. I figured this all out. Or do you think it's like an immense amount of pressure all of a sudden comes over you after that 3 count?
That's a really tough question. Being the champion, it is a lot of pressure. It's the hardest job you're ever going to have in the business. I've said that many, many times. I've said when I was the champion, I couldn't wait for somebody to beat me just because I was, working day in and day out. For a young kid like Randy, I got it when I was in my 30s. Randy getting it early in his 20s, that definitely can either help you or it could derail everything that you got going on because you can think that you're the guy, and this is good. This is something that's supposed to happen. This is something that's gonna happen on a regular occasion. And the thing is, sometimes it doesn't. You look at someone like Sheamus's career. He got the title, and it's been hard to get it back. You remember Jack Swagger, being a young guy getting the title and not being able to live up to those expectations. You remember, Drew McIntyre, being a young guy in the company and saying that, man, he just was not ready, for that moment. So I can only imagine what Randy Orton was thinking, but he proved that he had the aptitude to actually be in that position and understand what it means. And maybe that's because he's a 3rd generation wrestler. Maybe he's seen this story before many, many times. Maybe his dad is, took him to the side, the mechanic, and say, hey, look, bro, don't look at this as a game. This is a job. You know what I mean? So make sure you got your tool bag and go to work every day. So maybe that was it. Maybe that's what helped Randy Orton, figure out how to make it through this journey.
Because that is right now, the youngest person on the WWE main roster is Tiffany Stratton, and she's 25 years of age. So that's still older than what Randy Orton was when he won the world title. To me, I feel like it would be jarring. I'd love to ask Randy about it. I feel like it would be jarring because, like, here I am, I'm 2 years in the business, 3 years maybe, and I'm already the world champion. Like, and then you wonder, like, where does it go from here?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. He showed where it goes from there. It only goes up.
Well, yeah.
When you get, everybody knows it. When you talent, everybody knows it. Randy Orton is a guy that has been at a very, very high level for a very, very long time. And there again, man, you can't get that experience like he had coming up as a kid. Like I say, third generation. He's been around. He grew up in the business. Before he did it, he probably knew how to do it. It's one of those type of deals. Yeah.
Just took to it naturally,
Like Charlotte Flair. You look at Charlotte. She has all the attributes and all the ability, as her old man. You think she got that just, by osmosis? I don't think so.
No. I mean, yes, but like being around, right? Being around. And I mean, we've talked about it before. Even the way she circles the ring is like her dad. It's something that's inbred in you. So I'm sure that was the case with Randy. Another match I wanted to highlight from 20 years ago today, SummerSlam. We talked to him on our SummerSlam special during the ESPN radio broadcast. This was another match Kurt Angle had at SummerSlam, and that was against Eddie Guerrero. And if you remember earlier in that year, they had a great WrestleMania match. And when you think about it on paper today, Book, what would you give to see Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero again in their prime? I mean, two of the greatest workers of all time to go in there. And Eddie, I feel like this is a time in Eddie's career, like 03, 04, where everything made sense, right? Everything he did was no wasted motion, psychology, the finishes, being really creative, but he was also the most entertaining he had been. Because when he was in WCW, he was kind of similar to you in some ways, right? When he was in WCW, he was a really, really, really great worker. Then when he got to WWE, he was a really, really great worker, but then also figured out how to be an entertainer. This was like peak of his powers.
Yeah. Eddie was he was different, man. Eddie was different. Eddie was all about playing the role. He didn't think about stereotypes or stigma or anything like that because it was a job. And I love that about Eddie because Eddie could have been one to, not want to go with the program and totally just go against the grain. But Eddie saw what the money was. Eddie saw what his fame was, as well as Eddie never left his people. He always represented his people. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you can get nothing but the highest form of respect for that in this business when you don't leave the neighborhood. And I say that because, I'm one of the guys who haven't left the neighborhood. I'm still that same guy, and I still get respect. I still can walk down South Mont Street with no problems, you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of, just staying true to yourself. And Eddie was a guy that was always true to himself. I miss that dude, man. I miss Eddie. I miss him a lot, man. We're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it, sucker?
All right, everyone, it's Booker T and Brad Gilmore here, and we've got something exciting for all you sports, comedy, music, and theater fans out there. We're talking about Game Time, the fastest, easiest way to get your hands on tickets to your favorite events.
That's right, Book. We love all those spontaneous, unforgettable moments, and Game Time is here to make them happen. Whether it's a last-minute decision to see a game or a sudden urge to catch a live show, Game Time has got you covered, giving fans access to tickets even at the last minute in over 60 cities across the United States and Canada.
And guys, this ain't about getting in. This is about getting the best seats in the house. With Game Time, you can see images of your seat before you buy it. So no surprises there, guys. You can score tickets swiftly. Skip the line, guys. Just dive straight into the moment.
Absolutely. And listen to this. Game Time guarantees the best prices. Find tickets in the same section and row for less elsewhere. Game Time will give you a credit of 110% of the difference. So there's no reason to wait, bro.
So whether it's the thrill of the game, the laughter of the comedy, the rhythm of the music, or the drama of the theater, guys, don't let the opportunity skip by. Choose Game Time. Grab your tickets and just enjoy the moment.
Live should be spontaneous, book. So guys, don't miss out. Check out Game Time now on their app or at gametime.co. That's gametime.co.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BOOKER for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Lowest price. Guaranteed. Oh, yes. Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Just talking a little wrestling. For you guys that aren't in the loop, let's make sure we get you in the loop, guys. 305, UFC 305 going down this Saturday night. Duplessis versus Adesanya. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to get shut out. Myself and Brad Gilmore, ESPN Radio, 10/9 Central. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Oh, yes, man. I can't wait.
Hey, me and you both. I mean, to see Izzy in the octagon is a sight to see. We got to see him in person do his thing and defend his championship. Now he's trying to recapture the proverbial brass ring. And we're going to see if he can get it done at 305. And, it's card with several names. Tai Tuivasa's on there. There's a few names that casual fans will know from the UFC. So this is a one that you don't want to miss out. DDP is what they call Duplessis. I'm sure Diamond Dallas Page's lawyer is filing a letter right now from
sure.
that.
Yeah.
And you know what? God bless him. But yeah, that's gonna be a good fight.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly where Adesanya's head is. Just because I don't know, man. I don't think this is a good fight for him. They always talk about styles make fights. And this dude Duplessis, man, he is such a monster, man.
He's good.
Such a pressure fighter, man. And it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. 305 going down this Saturday night, guys. Don't miss out. The Hall of Fame, man. It's going to be good.
Also, realitywrestling.com. You want to go ahead and get your tickets for Reality Wrestling Gold Rush, the show after the biggest show of the Summer Champions 10. As we march toward the winner, you want to go and see Gold Rush and see all the people who defended their titles and won new titles at Summer Champions. They're going to be on the line again come Gold Rush. That's September the 14th at the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena in the heart of Texas City, Texas. And I can't wait.
That's right.
Can't wait for everyone to check out also the television episodes from Summer of Champions, because it was monster, man. And I'm saying it now. We hyped it up last episode. Best cage match in Raw history. You'll be able to see Danny Limelight taking on Ruthless Ryan Davidson for the Reality Wrestling Empire State Championship.
What a cage match. Ryan Davidson, big props, man. This guy been with me for quite some time. And now to see Ryan move to that next level as far as the psychology, man, he's grown so much. Big props to my man, Ryan Davidson. Yeah, big props.
Very few things are absolute or guarantees in anything, right? Especially in the business of pro wrestling. Like Ryan Davidson is about as close as you're going to come to a guarantee you're going to enjoy that match on that card, right?
Yeah.
It's can't miss. It's like, Ryan's on the gard. It's gonna be hard to top that one.
He's come a long way, you know what I mean? Because at one point in time, Ryan thought I hated him. He
did.
Book, why do you hate me so much? You know, like, bro, what are you talking about? I don't hate you. I just want you to be better. You know what I mean? I always talk about being that kid, and I needed a pat on the back. I really did, as well as I needed to be told, look, man, you need to get your act together. This is not going to work. And I needed it stern. I needed it from a man's perspective, somebody who was trying to help me. And that's what I've always been with Ryan Davidson. I've always been in his corner, man. I could always see the talent in Ryan Davidson. I just had to bring it out. And once I brought it out, man, no looking back. No looking back.
Yeah, he and Danny Limelight. That's what's going to go down. One of my favorite feuds in Raw history. Just the chemistry that they have, and I'm sure we're going to see it again. So you don't want to miss out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. 785,000 and climbing. 86. Excuse my language. 86,000 and climbing.
786,000. subscribers. You got to
Well,
say it like that.
I got a question for you because we're coming up on AEW All In for the second year at Wembley. Big match is going to main event that. That's Strickland, the AEW World Champion, taking on Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. If Bryan Danielson does not win the match, he is retiring. Book. It's over. He's hanging him up. What do you like this matchup between Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson? And do you think that we see the end of the American Dragon at All In?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Daniel Bryan's never had the AEW title, right?
He has not been the AEW World Champion.
Yeah. And I know he said next year he want to work a limited schedule.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, this might work out for him. I mean, I could be wrong. But I think Bryan Danielson has done a hell of a job in AEW, just staying out of the way, going over there, getting paid, trying to help some people out at the same time. But I would imagine that Danielson would want to, have the AEW World Championship on his legacy after being there, after helping those guys get to where they have. I think Swerve Strickland is in a position to where if he lost to, Danielson, it would be a mark on him, especially if he can come back and win it. Just because who else you going to put in that position? Other than MJF or something like that. So it would be kind of dumb to put Swerve in that position just to take him out of that position. Now he's a made man now. He really truly is a made man. So now him losing to Brian's got dang.
That's hard. It's hard.
Danielson, him losing to Danielson, like I say, it's not going to be a black mark on him or anything, especially like I say, with Danielson working a limited schedule, being able to drop it back to him, being two-time world champ is so much better than being one-time world champ. So that's the way I look at it.
Sounds better, right? It sounds better.
Sounds a hell of a lot better.
And I agree. It's like if Swerve doesn't lose it to Danielson, then who does he lose it to? You know what I mean? Like this seems to be the place to do it. And for Bryan to not have had that title yet in his run, I feel like he's going to get the job done. Let me ask you this. Was there ever a question about you being the TNA World Champion? Did that ever come up? Because I feel like that should have happened.
Never came up.
Did they just give you the Legends title and be like, look, we're making this for you?
They gave me the Legends Championship to shut me up. That's what they did. I'm not lying.
Wait, was you and Joe for the world title at Victory Road? I think it was.
It might have been for the world title. Yeah, it might have been for the world title. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was for the world title.
So what do you mean they gave you the Legends title to shut you up? What does that mean?
He's got a title. He's not going to be worried about, winning the TNA World Championship. And the thing is, I wasn't worried about. I wasn't even thinking about winning the TNA World Championship because I knew that would, put me to work. I would have to work a whole lot more if I was the champ. So I had no notions or thoughts or intentions on trying to put myself in that position when the World Championship. And the thing is, my whole 2 years there never came up once. No,
it wasn't even. It wasn't even on your radar.
Wasn't on my radar. It wasn't on their radar either.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting because I feel like that would have been a thing. Like I feel like everyone in the main event mafia probably should have won the world title.
They brought me in. They gave me a title. They built a title for me, and I was like, I was wondering when they gave it to me because nobody wised me up. Nobody told me about it. They just presented me with the Legend Championship, and I was like, wow, okay, all right, that's cool. And then the thing is, I lost it, and I had nothing to do with that either.
I remember this. I remember that part. Here's the funny thing about the Legends title too, right? Because it had several names.
Television Championship.
It was the TNA Legends title. Then it was the TNA Global Championship. Then the TNA Television Championship. And then the TNA King of the Mountain Championship.
Yeah.
And they never changed the belt at all. It always said Legends on it. The rest of the time, it never said television.
I never understood that, man. Which I didn't understand a lot that was going on in TNA at that time. I wasn't told a whole lot. Nobody really gave me a whole lot of instruction. Like that, for instance, giving me the Legend Championship with no rhyme or reason. Was I to defend it? I don't know. It was one of those type of deals. But it was a nice belt, so I went with it. Another
So
belt.
this is what it says, and I don't remember this, but it says Booker T declared himself the first champion after he unveiled the title belt. The title was then known as the TNA Legends Championship and was unsanctioned by TNA in storyline.
Okay.
There you go.
Now I know the story. Thank you.
Now you know where it came from. It was from you. You
Yeah.
made it up.
I made it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Like
there
I
you
said,
have it.
I was just there to have some fun. Having the Legends Championship. Look I'm not knocking it. Not saying it was a bad thing or anything like that. I wore it and I wore it proudly.
Yeah. And you're the and what's also, and we've talked about this before, one of the prettiest titles you ever held.
Nah, man. That belt had a lot of unique features to it. Very, very unique. It was a one-of-a-kind belt. It was beautiful. It was heavy. It made you feel like a legend. It really did. But that's here nor there. I mean, titles and belts and stuff like that, I really didn't put a whole lot of stock in them, other than winning them, other than being the guy that was, representing the company. That's the only thing that meant to me. But we got to take a break, man. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it, sucker?
And this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So there's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Book, Blue Chew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
Let's just get it out there, guys. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. Just reading something. Beth Phoenix is now a free agent. She's no longer part of WWE. I mean, she had a hell of a career, started in the developmental system, FCW, back in 2007. And just wrapping it up, that's a hell of a career, 17 years with the WWE. And I'm sure with Edge being over there in AEW, all he has to do is make a phone call and boom, the Hall of Fame couple will be back together again. So that's the way I see that.
Yeah, I mean, Beth Phoenix, obviously she's a Hall of Famer at WWE and did a lot of great work as an in-ring competitor and a commentator in NXT for a while. She did a lot of good work there. And, I don't know what other goals she could have had to accomplish in WWE. I'm pretty sure she got them all done. So, yeah, let's see if she can reunite with Adam Copeland once he comes back from injury. 100%.
It's a check over there, bro. It's a check.
Hey, baby, you want to make some money?
Want to make some monies, and you ain't got to do a whole lot to make these monies. So yeah.
Well, congratulations to Beth Phoenix. We'll see where she ends up. The other thing I wanted to ask you, and then we have a couple super chats to get to. So, an Olympic sport that made its debut at this past Olympics was breakdancing, right? Yeah. Breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Which you're a very big fan of. I mean, you popped and locked with the best of them back in the day. The remote controls. That's where that name comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Now they announced that in 2028 at the Los Angeles Olympics, the Summer Games, no more breaking.
No
Breaking's
more breaking.
Done.
Yeah.
They did it and it's out. What do you what did you think of breakdancing in the Olympics, and what do you think about it being excised from the
You know
Olympics?
what? I've been saying for many, many, many years that breakdancing should be in the Olympics. I've been saying that way before breakdancing ever got a chance to be in the Olympics. But I do think this year's fiasco was flawed, big time. It was flawed, big time. Just because I watched some of it. I watched the final, and the final did not impress me. So whatever came before that definitely would not have impressed me. The black guy from Canada, excuse me, the black guy from France, he looked like he was 40 years old. I mean, he had a nice haircut. He had all of his hair on his face shaved because it definitely would have been some gray if that wouldn't have been the case. That dude looked pretty old. I could be wrong. But like I say, you could have found enough break dancers, top notch, in California and New York and Houston alone to actually be able to pull that thing off. And talking about, because I've worked with Break Free here in Houston, and Break Free got some break dancers better than those guys that I saw in the Olympics this week. I'm Break Free. I'm giving you a shout out. Big shout out to Break Free. That's a dance club here in Houston if you guys want to get some knowledge on it. But nah, man, I just thought it was flawed, and I did not think the best guys were, representing breakdancing. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. The breakdancing category, I agree, was flawed, and it needs
One
to be
girl from
removed.
Australia, how did she get in there? That's one thing. How did she get in there?
Raygun.
Yeah, and they say Reagan won her way into the tournament, and you know what I mean. So she had to actually win some shows before so I'm tripping. I'm tripping, bro. I'm tripping because she did not know what the hell she was doing.
I know. I feel a little bad for her because she become viral, and I think she was on one of the shows talking about, I didn't realize I'd get so much hate. And look, God love her for doing it and going out there and trying and giving the old college try, but somebody should have smartened her up.
And she's 30-some years old as well.
Yeah. Somebody should have been like, hey,
That's
look.
that's why I really feel like this thing was flawed from the beginning, because like I told you, when I was 20, I had aged out.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about it. These gymnasts, these young they're teenagers.
They're like 14, 15, 16.
Simone Biles is like
old.
a grandmother.
Yep.
In that sport.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is, the younger you are doing something like that, the better you're going to be at it. Not the older you are. Your body it's going to change. Your joints aren't going to be able to take it. You're not going to be able to do the things you could, because your young body was able to, push past certain things. Nah, man, no doubt. This thing was flawed from the beginning. And me personally, if I had to see another one like that, I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it. We have some super chats before we wrap up for the day. Callie Toenail says, thoughts on Bobby Lashley doing a little boxing? He said he would fight Jake Paul. He says he respects him, but Paul only fights guys.
I like Bobby. But if you want to go get knocked out, go fight Jake Paul.
Well, he'd be much bigger than Jake, right?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter one bit.
Older, slower?
Now, older, slower, as well as he hasn't been training to be a boxer. Boxing is not something you play. All right. As real as it possibly could be. And if I was advising Bobby Lashley, I would advise him, bro, do something else.
Yeah, I don't want to see Bobby as a boxer. I mean, he did well in his MMA career in Bellator.
He's a wrestler. That's his background. That's his forte. So I would love to see him do something like that, opposed to going out. If you fought Jake Paul, it'd be just for the money. Okay. And I get that. I get that as well. All right. It's a good payday. It's a good payday. But I feel like Jake Paul it wouldn't be a good night. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so.
I like Bobby. I know people are going to say, "Oh man, you hating on Bobby?" I'm not hating.
Hate.
I'm just talking from an analyst perspective, somebody that's been watching boxing for a very, very long time.
No hate on Bobby or any of the guys who recently left. Envy was just at the ribbon cutting, and I saw people were like, "Oh, Booker and Envy, they probably got heat now. They're probably got heat." What are you talking about?
Got no heat with MVP, man.
What
That's
are you
my
talking
boy,
about?
man. But I'm gonna tell it like it is. I'm always tell it like it is.
Well, we got a few minutes left, but we got about 4 super chats. Let's try to get through them. Cali Toenail said also, Bubba Ray said Roxanne Perez wouldn't do well on the main roster and needs to stay in NXT for a while. I disagree. She's a little A kicker, better than Liv. That's what Cali Toenail says. What say you, BT?
You know, there again, I like Bubba Ray, but he don't know what the hell he talking about. All right.
Absolutely not.
Roxanne Perez is definitely one of the best in the WWE right now. She is just that good. And she came through my wrestling school. I don't see none of Bubba Ray's students out there doing nothing. I'm just saying.
Looking forward to your next appearance on Busted Open Book. B says, remember when Kane crashed Edge and Lita's wedding? Well, of course, one of the great moments of all time. Didn't he come through the ring? I think he came through the ring.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, it's a memorable night.
Yeah, very strange time. That was a different kind of time in wrestling. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of miss it a little bit. Mike Woodson said the Dominic Mysterio / Rhea Ripley and Liv feud is so good it has my wife interested in wrestling, and she's not really a wrestling fan until now. Well, that's
Good,
the point.
man. It's really good. I mean, what Dominic has been doing since he started with WWE, he's just been doing really, really good work. There again, second, third generation guy that have grown up in this business. I saw him when he was a little bitty baby to where he is now. Oh man, he's a student of the game, and he knows it like the back of his hand, man. He is uncanny. He has uncanny talent. He really does for a guy his age. Give him big props.
Huge props. And our final super chat of the day comes from Mike Edwards, who says, hey guys, love the show. Book, when you were in WCW, was Ted Turner ever backstage at a show?
You know, my whole time in WCW, the only time I saw Ted Turner was at the office, Turner Broadcasting office. Saw him there once. But Ted Turner never came to WCW shows. He was never in the back hanging around giving advice or shaking hands or anything like that. No, he was definitely a ghost as far as WCW goes.
Yeah, I think I've seen a picture of him and Jane Fonda at one show. Maybe it was a taping, maybe it was a pay-per-view in the early 90s.
Yeah.
That's the only picture I've ever seen.
I think I remember that picture. But that was a rarity for those guys to be at a WCW show.
That's the only one I've ever seen, so I'm assuming it's the only one that's ever happened. He went to one show probably. Now, let me ask you this. Who is the most famous person you ever caught backstage at a WCW show?
Probably LL.
LL Cool J?
Yeah. Me and LL, we had a little skit. But he was, LL was big. He was big. But WCW brought a lot of stars through, but I was the mingling type. Let's just say that.
Well, I by the way, LL is coming out with a new album. I don't know if you know this. LL's got a new album coming out. He's got a new He's got a new record out with Sweetie.
Then I tell you, man, it's money to be made. It's money to be made. You don't want to leave no money on the table. That's just part of the game. That's why we're talking about best friends. We're talking about Edge, Danielson. Guys, pick that paper up, baby, because that's what it's all about, man. That paper. So man, I ain't hating. Get your bag, man. Get your bag.
Hey, man. Well, that's all the super chats we have for you today. It's all the show we have for you today.
You got to get up out of here, man. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, all the super chatters, man. We appreciate you. We love you guys. You guys keep the show rolling here inside the Hall of Fame. Brad, for all the heavy lifting, as always, peace. We love you. We out.